I'm Rich Dean with West Coast Collector Cars in Oregon, and today I have an exceptional 1965 Mustang GT Fastback Tribute car to show you. Now, this car is one of 5 that I received from a collection that have all been absolutely restored to the nines. They are beautiful. This is the first one I've done, and the other 4 will be forthcoming, but these cars are just all built by the same company, a very fine company here in our area. They do excellent restoration work. I personally own one of the cars they did and very happy with it. You just aren't going to find, I don't think you can find anything to complain about, is what the point is, and this car is no exception. It's just beautiful. So I want to take you around, show you just how nice it is. This is a base coat, clear coat paint. It's finished in a factory color, Rangoon red, which is right for a 1965 Mustang. You see your gaps and so forth here, nice and even. There's no dings or anything, scratches in the paint whatsoever. It's just beautiful everywhere you look. No odd imagery coming out in the paint. This being a GT, you would have gotten the GT badges on both sides, both front fenders, and then your Mustang call out there with the GT stripe down the rocker. Had a couple options for interior in 1965. You could have gotten a standard interior, or you could upgrade to the deluxe interior, or what's more commonly known as the pony interior, which is what this one has. And what that would get you is, for one, the door panels all nice and sculpted here. You would have had this sort of knife handle style door latch. This one in particular has the factory speakers here, and then of course your nice lighting and so forth. Seats have these little Mustangs embossed into them. I suspect that's predominantly why we call it the pony interior, but all in excellent condition. The carpet's excellent, the dash. This one has air conditioning and it works great, blows cold. 4-speed manual transmission and correct console. In the back here, you might even be able to see you got your little light working there, your little console light, and the courtesy lights here. This being a fastback, or the correct, I guess, would be 2+2. You got a back seat also. Show you that. It's excellent. Headliner's nice, perfect condition. I'm telling you, everything on this car is just excellent. Look at this. Door closes nice, gaps are nice. Should take a look down the side. You can just see how nice and flat this paint is. No wows in the metal. Just excellent. Wheels and tires. Now, in 1965, on a GT, you would have gotten these wheels. These are called styled steel wheels. And in 1965, you would have gotten a full chrome. Even the trim ring here is chrome. In 1966, they changed that to a kind of a brushed aluminum trim ring that just would have popped on. So in 65, you would have gotten the full chrome here. And then, you know, these are Silvertown radials, which are made by BF Goodrich, so they're essentially a TA radial. And you got this double red wall here, which fits perfectly with the red car. It gives it that vintage look. Back here, trunk lid, nice and even. Paint's beautiful in here. All the glass is new and nice in the car. No scratches or anything anywhere. All the chrome is excellent. Bumpers, your lights are nice and crisp. In 1965, even with the GT like this car, you would have gotten this gas cap. Now, this gas cap is exactly the same gas cap as you would have gotten on any Mustang. Even the standard 6-cylinder car would have gotten this. In 1966, this would have been all metal. You wouldn't have had this plastic, and you would have had GT here, which is kind of cool, but the 65 gas cap looks great. Also, part of the GT package was this exhaust. Now, it had the trumpets with the louvers here, and then you had a trim ring, and it came out the rear valance like you see here, which just put a nice finishing touch on the exhaust. That always looks good. And then this has an extra cost option, which at that time, which was the backup lights. Since we're here, let me show you the trunk real quick. Trunk is really nice, nothing wrong here, everything's perfect, nice tight, you know, weather stripping, paint is beautiful in here, your trenches are nice. On the spare you would have gotten just a steel wheel here, you wouldn't have gotten the styled steel like you see, but they went ahead and put one of those double red wall radials on here, which is kind of nice. You probably would never use it, you know, you don't want to be out changing a tire nowadays. Show you here. Part of the trunk floor, or the trunk floor, is the gas tank. So of course that's all new. Everything's new on the car. Beautiful. All new wiring, of course. I mean, this thing was restored like you would want a car restored. And the company that restored this just does exemplary work. So you're not going to have any issues with this car. Taking the driver's side here. In 1965, if you ordered a GT, you got this dash panel, the 5 gauges. A standard Mustang would have had just a, you know, a sweeping speedometer with a couple of gauges, a temp gauge and a fuel gauge, and then a couple of lights. Kind of like the Falcons, because they were really patterned after the Falcon, the dash, so that's what you would have gotten. Now in 1966, that changed to where all Mustangs got this style of gauge panel. But in 65, to get this gauge panel, you had to have a GT. Also, this right here, this is called the Rally Pack, and it gave you a tachometer and a clock, and you might be able to see a little second hand moving there. That's always a neat feature. That was a standalone option, but you see them in a lot of GTs, as with this wheel. Now, this steering wheel, this is the deluxe wheel or the pony wheel, and what's kind of cool about this particular wheel is this is actually wood, not plastic. A lot of them are plastic, but this one is actually wood. Horn works. Show you back in here. The radio that you see there is correct for 65. Now, I'm going to show you the difference. See where this 6 is? If it's a 65 Mustang, the radio is going to start off with a 6. In 1966, the radio started off with a number 5. But this particular radio, as factory original as that is, that radio is FM. So that's kind of nice, you know, to have an FM stereo in there that looks like a factory AM radio. Let me take a minute here to talk about the website for a moment. If you go to westcoastcollectorcars.com, I've got pictures of the car, of course, but also pictures of the undercarriage. The undercarriage, very clean, very dry under there. Again, this car was restored very well. You're not going to find any issues. Under it, over it, inside, engine, transmission, nothing. GTs also came with a Ford 9-inch differential, and this one has 350 to 1 gears. Oh. Windows, you know, roll up and down nicely, you know, no problem there. All the chrome and so forth that you see here is nice. The whiskers, everything was replaced. Everything's new. Inside remote mirror. And let me point this little option to you here. This is a trunk release, a remote trunk release. So you pull that up and the trunk pops open. That would have been, of course, an extra cost option as well. This is part of the GT package as well. This is what they call the light bar, which has these two fog lamps. So when you turn these on, there's a switch there under your dash. You turn the fog lamps on. The fog lamps come on, the tail lights come on, and your dash lights come on. That's the correct way that they came on originally from the factory, and that's exactly how this car is wired. Again, up here, chrome, grill, nice. Take you and show you the engine here. Now, if you ordered a GT, you could only order it with a V8, and that V8 had to be an A code, which is a 289 4-barrel, 225 horse, or a K code, which is a 289 4-barrel high performance, 271 horse. So, for example, this is where the VIN is, and this is the correct location. So the 5 meant 1965. The R meant it was a San Jose plant. That's where it was built. 09 means it's a fastback. A 08 would have been a convertible, and a 07 would have been a coupe. And you could get the GT in any configuration. The A means that it's a 289 4-barrel, 225 horse, and then these numbers here are the consecutive build number. But here's your air conditioning. Got a nice little Holley 4-barrel there. The larger master cylinder, because all GTs got front disc brakes with the large master cylinder. They weren't power, but they were front discs, and you did get that master cylinder. This one has power steering. The AC cars got the fan shroud. And this one is set up kind of like a little High Pro, 289 High Pro with the chrome valve covers and so forth. Export brace here, which this is nice. It ties the front end together and just makes it drive a lot nicer. All nice and clean up under here. This is a battery topper, kind of gives it that old school look, but really this is just a top for a modern battery. All the correct battery cables and such. Correct hoses with the numbers and so forth on there. Correct hose clamps. Man, they just did a nice job with this car. You might be able to tell, I kind of like Mustangs. I don't know. I still have my first car, which you probably see if you see the videos. You'll see it sitting around here. A little yellow coupe. I've had it for 41 years. It was my first car, and I drive it all the time. They're just great little cars. But what I like to do now is I'll hop in the car, and I'll start it up. You get to hear it start, and I'll just drive it around the parking lot a little bit here, just so you can kind of see what it looks like moving under its own power. You know, one of the things that I like is, you know, I like the way a car drives, if it drives nice. I want it to drive nice, and I want everything to work, preferably. And this car, you know, no exception. It just drives excellent. Drives like a new car, a new Mustang. Everything works on it. The heater, the wipers, the AC works great. All the gauges work. All the lights work. Emergency brake works. It shifts nice. It's quiet. You're not getting any, rattles and clunks or anything. I mean, the car is, basically a new 65 Mustang GT Fastback. But if I can answer any further questions for you about this Mustang, don't hesitate to give me a call. Again, my name is Rich Dean, and this is West Coast Collector Cars. My number is 503-851-6763, and thank you for watching today.